Alright, as promised, today we're going to look at everything I do to get my videos from non-existent to the best quality I can achieve on YouTube. There's a few things that we're going to talk about today, which is recording, the Shadowplay and OBS, editing, Adobe Premiere and Sony Vegas, YouTube compression with the guidelines, and the VP9 codecs. So without anything else, let's just dig into it. So opening up your GeForce experience here, you can enable experimental features, which you should do because that gives you the latest diddly douches, so go ahead and do that. After that, just use the keybind Alt-C to open your overlay here, and you can turn these instant replays and recording on. But if we head into settings and go into video capture, these are the settings that I use. Now by choosing 2160p, aka 4K, you can up the bitrate to 130, which gives you more room to work with in the editing. Sure, the files will be a lot larger and you could probably get away with the lower sizes. But for me, quality is a big concern. So I like to just bump it all the way up. And then the FPS at 60, of course, and you're good to go. I have my length at 5 minutes because, yeah, then I'm going to capture everything I need for the informational videos that I do. Alright, so another neat feature that came to Shadowplay is the separate audio tracks, which means you can pick up your microphone on one track and your in-game volume on another one. So if you say some bullshit or you accidentally burp a huge burp, you can cut that out and be on with it. A lot of people tended to not use Shadowplay a while back because they didn't have this feature, but they do now. And with the increased quality too, you're pretty much good to go. The thing about Shadowplay is that it uses your GPU to capture with. So you're going to have almost no impact on your game while recording or using Shadowplay to capture the last 5 minutes. It's just a joy to work with. And the quality isn't that big a difference from the CPU to the GPU recording. Sure, CPU does give a little bit better, but GPU will make it just fine too. Alright, time to go through OBS. Now I use OBS for my gameplay videos simply because I have some audio filter here for my noise gate, which is great. That's mainly why I use it. And it's just nice to have your streaming profile and recording profile in one program. Now the settings for this, if we go into recording, output recording, you can choose a path, that's good. The format MP4. Now you can use your graphics card too to record here, which will make less impact on your game if you wish to do that. But I'm gonna go ahead with a 274 here. And CBR I tend to go to 130k here. And you can be just fine with very fast. Now medium, because I have the i9 and the 1080 Ti, I just go a little bit above and beyond, even though it's not really needed. And that's pretty much it. You can have separate audio tracks too here, where we have one for the microphone and one for the game. So basically, if we go into advanced audio properties, you can select, alright, I want my microphone on track 2 and my game desktop on track 1. And then if you're streaming, you want both on one, of course. But if you want to record with your graphics card, you can do that too. And you can go with a few different ones. I just went with CQP23. You can use CBR2, no problem. 130k here too. I was messing around with a bit with it. As said, I do not use my GPU to record with anymore, but you can still do it. It's no issue whatsoever. If we go into video too, you can select your output, what screen resolution you're at, the FPS 60 of course, good quality samples here, and that's it, you're ready to go. So I made the switch to Premiere and I'm super happy with it. This is the 100 tips and tricks video. We're good to go. We want to render now, so we go ahead and export it. And down here, select media, and then I have a profile made called Potato, which is good enough. Now this is the format that YouTube prefers, and yep, just go with it. It works. Save it as a good name, and then we have pretty much the video ready to go. We can change the screen size too. Now I used to change this up, but now we can just match the source because I do run at 1440p, but you can force the VP9 codec as set by changing this up to a 1440p size. We're going to talk about the VP9 codec a little bit later, so we'll get to that. Now these settings are just going to match the source because we are at 60 FPS, 1440p, nothing to talk about there. We're using the 2-pass, so it's going to run through the video and just make sure it's delish. And these are just the target bit rates that I go with and the maximum. Makes the quality neat and I like it. So hoppity hoop fitty, there we go. And then the maximum quality, of course. That's it. Now you can queue it up too if you wish. And you can continue to use Adobe Premiere while the video renders in the background. Now I don't recommend that you go and play video games or some other shit unless you have a beast PC. Well, just don't in general, because it might just mess up your video. And the good thing about Premiere is that you could still use Premiere while rendering, because Adobe is great. And just like that, now it's going to render the video while I continue to work on the same video for some reason. Alright, so let's say this is your finished video. You want to mark all your clips here. Right click, go into switches, and disable resample. I don't know why, but resample makes your video look like shit. You're ready to go. Let's go ahead and render. So in Sony Vegas 15, I don't recommend you use 13, 14 or 15. 13 is just so far back and no, stay away from it. Now go ahead and select the new Magix codecs that they have here. And we can say, alright, we want to do a 1080p. You can go in here. Now these are basically the same, except this uses your CPU and this uses your GPU to render with if you have an NVIDIA card. And then we go in here. Down here you can select the graphics card to render with. This will make it a lot faster to render and just a lot of time saved. Now I used to do this and the quality is just fine by doing this, but you can get a little bit better quality by using your CPU. Now you can go ahead and enter custom frame size too if you want to force the VP9 codecs, as we're going to talk about a little bit later in this video. Yeah, 60 FPS. That is going to be a 1440p video. And we can 2-pass it. That means it's going to run through the videos twice and make sure that there are no silly artifacts making your video look like poop. It's a small thing. Now what I like here is the same as in Premiere. 50, 45. I don't know why, but that just does it for me. And of course 60 FPS. And that's Sony Vegas. I don't use it anymore, but if you do, these are the settings that I would go with. Alright, so if we look at the recommended bit rates for HD videos, you see here for 1080p it's 10 and 15 for the bit rate. That's not good enough for a game like PUBG because there's a lot of grass and that just makes the video look like shit. If you up it to what we use, which is 45 and 50, you give YouTube a bit more to work with when they re-encode your video and it will just come out looking better. Basically, YouTube takes your video and just mashes that shit together and try to make it as small as possible while still looking somewhat like okay, but it harvests it. Alright, so one last thing is the VP9 codec, which you want your videos to use. Now if you go in here and we say statistics for nerds, this is Danish, you don't know what the hell it is. See here it has the codec VP9, this is what you want your video to have. Now generally you don't get that until your video reaches a certain amount of views, or you have, I don't know what number of subscribers, I don't know how it works, I just don't know. But as a new channel you can force it by rescaling your video to 1440p. And then YouTube will be forced to give you the VP9 codec for some reason. That's what I used to do back in the day, and it does make the video look a lot better having the VP9 codec. So make sure that you get that, because it makes it a lot better to watch. Alright, that's it. If you have any questions, post a comment and I'll try to help out. Other than that, get to work.